The story gets underway as we are shown the city of New York. Here we can see a very tall building, and on top of this building stands a man whose name is David King. David King is a successful musician. He has produced many hit songs, but on this day he is extremely troubled. He has come to the realization that he has sold off a majority of his company's shares, and the individuals to whom he is about to sell the remaining shares, he is a much larger company than his own. This means they will have complete and total control over his company. And in one way or another, his own artistic freedom will be completely gone. And King wants to prevent this from happening at all costs. That is why he is making phone calls to everyone one by one. And he is telling them that I have made a decision that I am going to buy all of my shares back. I am willing to pay you more than what I originally sold them for. After these conversations, he returns to his own room. We then see his wife, whose name is Pam. Pam also comes to him and shares her own ideas, how to best operate his company. Then his son enters the room, whose name is Trey. Trey informs him that he has a college basketball game today, and he will be attending with his friend Kyle. So King tells him that I will be the one to drop you off myself, when the two of them are seated in the vehicle. So King notices that Trey is busy on his phone. After a short while, he asks him how many hours you typically spend on your phone each day. Trey replies that there is no set amount. Sometimes I might use it for up to 12 hours. Then King pokes fun at this and tells him that you really ought to change that particular habit. Then these people finally arrive at the school. King walks Trey to the entrance. Then Trey also speaks with him and tells him about his passion for music, how very much he truly loves music. When these two are on the basketball court, then King goes over and introduces himself to Trey's coach. Everyone is incredibly happy to see him there. But what nobody is aware of is that King's music company is on the verge of being completely sold. And he does not breathe a word of this to anybody. He is confident that he will be able to buy his company back. While he is leaving this place, he does not even inform his son that he is not staying behind to watch the game. He is leaving to take care of work. The moment he gets out and gets into his car, here a man by the name of Paul arrives, who is Kyle's father, and King's personal driver as well. He places a file into his hand, which contains all of the specific details of the company's finances. After departing from here, King now proceeds directly to his office. As soon as he gets there, he is met by a man named Patrick, which is also his current business partner. King begins to explain everything to him, what is currently weighing on his mind, and what his thoughts are on the matter. He explains that the record label executives are after his music company, and they are determined to ruin it at any price. They don't view music as a form of art. They only perceive music as a commodity. Their entire strategy is to get rid of all the talented artists who are currently here, and to generate new songs using AI, whose production costs will be significantly lower. After hearing this explanation, Patrick says that I also believe the idea was sound. You are also aware of how much money is required to produce a single piece of music. After that, there is immense pressure on us, that if this particular song happens to flop, we will find ourselves in a very substantial loss. We are only capable of doing a very limited amount of music production. But things are all about to change with the introduction of AI. Songs will be created much faster. They will generate a great deal of money. And there will not be any of this pressure on us. The number of songs we are currently producing in a year, we will be able to make more than 20 times that amount of songs. Then King looks directly at him and says, "Listen very carefully to your own words. What are you even saying? This company was not established so that we could create songs with machines. This company was founded so that we could create songs from our hearts. And our very souls are intertwined with it. And this is the principle I want to uphold. The rest of the music companies are going to do it. All of them are going to make the switch to AI. But I desire for the old tradition to be preserved within this company. Our soul is poured into every single song." After a short while, upon hearing these words, Patrick asks, "What is it that you want?" Then King explains to him that I want you to sell your personal share back to me. By doing this, the majority of the total shares will be returned to me. And nobody within this company will be able to force this change. Patrick considers this for a moment and then agrees. Now King is incredibly happy. He comes rushing back home and starts to share his joy with his entire family. First and foremost, he informs Pam that he has successfully rectified the deal. Now the majority of the company shares will belong to him. After she hears these words, Pam says that the idea is a good one, but you are aware that you will be required to pay. Patrick is not going to simply give you his shares for free. You will be required to pay him the full market amount. And I do not believe we currently have that kind of money. Where are you going to get the money from? Then King explains that whatever property we currently own, I will put all of it up for hire, and then we will have enough money. I will reclaim the music company and start making new songs. As soon as the profits come in, we will settle all of our debts one by one. Pam tells him that this idea is extremely risky. Everything that we have, you are planning to place it all on the line. What did we just discuss a little while ago? That now you will start to work a little bit less, and you would spend more of your time with me. You should be aware that now the tree is also about to leave. He has a desire to live away from home and study. Then I am going to need you even more. King begins to explain to her that this is his final opportunity. The one thing he has dedicated his entire life to. He cannot simply stand by and watch it be destroyed right in front of his very eyes. That is why he is so determined to do this work. Then Pam also gives her consent. The two of them begin to reminisce about their past. When they had their very first meeting, their conversation is still going on. That is when King's mobile phone rings. As soon as he answers the phone, he hears the voice of an unknown man. That man says that your son Trey is currently with us. I will contact you again after a short while and tell you exactly what I want. After saying this, he abruptly ends the call. Now King is extremely worried. He immediately goes and speaks to his wife Pam and their driver Paul. Informs them that Trey has just been kidnapped. Now they also become very concerned and say that the first thing to do is to call the police. They make a call to the police, and the policemen soon fill up the entire house. 3 different detectives come and sit down in front of them, whose names are Higgins, Bell, and Briggs. These men ask them to tell me precisely what the kidnapper said to you. He explains that first he called and informed me that my son is with him. After a short while, they received another call, and they stated that they are demanding 17.5 million Swiss francs as their ransom, and all of it in the denomination of 1,000 notes. If I fail to do this, they will not let Trey go alive. After hearing these words, Briggs says that you do not need to feel too much tension. Now that we have arrived here, our investigation has now begun. Nothing is going to happen to your son, and you will not be required to pay either. Then King says that they informed him that they will call him again during the night. Briggs asks if you have a relative who lives next to you or if you have a relative on whom you might have some suspicion, who interacts with you on a daily basis. King says no. There is nobody who fits that description. I have complete trust in all of the people who are close to me, but they still do not seem to believe him. And the very first thing they do is start their interrogation of Paul. After questioning Paul for a period of hours, they go directly to speak with the coach, because Trey was last seen here. When they begin to question the coach, he states that he does not know anything either. As soon as the game was over, Trey departed from this location. He has no idea what transpired after that. Then Paul suddenly realizes that his own son Kyle is also currently missing. He goes to each of the detectives one by one, but not a single one of them pays any attention to his words, because he is, after all, just a driver. Everyone just keeps on dismissing him. Then in the end, he runs and goes directly to King, and he tells him that my son Kyle is also not accounted for. His phone is also not currently reachable. I have no idea what I should do now. Then Pam comes running and crying to King, and she tells him that the police have successfully located our son. He also comes rushing outside. After they see Trey, they are incredibly relieved. But Paul is still asking the very same question. Where is his own son Kyle? Then the detectives explain that perhaps the kidnapper made some kind of a mistake. They have accidentally abducted Kyle instead of Trey. They were not aware of who King's son actually was. After hearing this, Paul's emotional state begins to deteriorate rapidly. He runs back inside the house, sobbing. Then they escort Trey inside and ask him to recount in complete detail what exactly took place. Trey says that as soon as our game was over, the two of us came outside. After that, we went to go and get some lunch. The two of us ate our lunch together. After we finished eating, I had to leave. I had some other business to attend to, but after a little while, as soon as I got back, I noticed that Kyle was nowhere to be found, but Kyle was supposed to have been there. Then the kidnappers make another phone call. This time, King answers the phone once again. They say that, even if the wrong boy has been kidnapped, we had always intended to make you our target. Even if the child belongs to someone else, we still demand that you are the one to pay the ransom. And the amount is still the same, 17.5 million Swiss francs. If you do not pay up, we are going to kill this kid. After saying this, they disconnect the call. Now nobody has any idea what should be done. Paul is the one who is the most worried, because he is just an ordinary driver. He does not possess that kind of money. Only King has the means to arrange for that much money. Then he goes to speak with King, and he pleads with him, "Save my son's life. Please give them the money. I have complete and total faith in the police. They will be able to get all of your money back." But something entirely different is currently going through King's mind. When he was on the phone, that man had mentioned his name. His name is Felony. King is currently pondering this. Why is this particular man targeting him? In the meantime, he also listens to what Paul has to say. After hearing him out, he says to Paul, "You must understand how much money this is. The police will never be able to get this money back. They will simply treat this case like all the other cases. And how many unresolved cases are just sitting in the police station? You have no idea. The most significant problem is, if I do give them the money, then my own music company will slip out of my hands. I am about to receive that exact same money, from which I am planning to purchase the shares. No one will be able to prevent me from being completely ruined." But Paul continues to plead with him. Then after a short while, King falls silent and does not give him an answer. Then Paul finally understands that King is not going to help him, and he walks away from there. After some time, King goes outside, and he sits down with Patrick. He tells him, "If I pay the money to the kidnappers, then I will not be able to purchase the shares. And right before my very eyes, the music company will be completely ruined. I have no idea what I should do." Patrick says, "Listen to what your heart is telling you. If that young child is murdered, then you are going to be ruined in any case. The public will absolutely destroy you. This news will be spread absolutely everywhere, and your entire reputation will be completely ruined." He says this and then he leaves. King goes to speak with his son Trey and asks for his advice. Trey tells him the same thing everyone else has been saying. He reminds King of the immense influence of social media. He explains that in today's world, people can elevate someone to greatness or completely destroy them through social media. If anything happens to Kyle, Trey warns social media influencers will be the first to target King. They will portray him as a villain. Following that, journalists and media personalities will also come after him, making his life very difficult. Trey advises him not to take that risk. If he saves Kyle instead, he will be praised and might even gain something from it, possibly saving his company as well. King spends the entire night thinking about this. Finally, he decides that he will save the child. Meanwhile, we see Kyle for the first time, locked in a bathtub by the kidnappers. He can hear a song playing loudly. Its title is "I Am Drunk." On the other side, King gathers all of the ransom money and lays it out in front of him, waiting for the kidnappers' call. Eventually, the phone rings. They instruct him where to deliver the money and insist that only King himself must bring it. They also demand Pam's bracelet. King gets angry, refusing to give it as it was an anniversary gift. However, Pam avoids an argument and hands over the bracelet without hesitation. King places the money and the bracelet in a large bag and, following the kidnappers' instructions, boards a metro train. During the ride, they call again, telling him to get off and stand between two designated boxes. He complies, waiting for further instructions. Soon they order him to throw the bag. Confused, King argues with them and realizes too late that they must have placed a GPS tracker inside it. Suddenly, a kidnapper on the train pulls the emergency brake. The sudden jolt causes King to drop the bag. A man snatches it and hands it to someone else. The police, already nearby, chase them, but the kidnappers keep passing the bag from one scooter to another motorcycle, constantly switching it to mislead the authorities. After a long chase, one man escapes with the real money while leaving behind a decoy bag with only a piece of paper inside. The kidnappers have successfully fooled everyone. Meanwhile, Kyle is released and left in a public park. When people spot him, they rush him to a hospital and inform the police. When questioned, Kyle says he doesn't remember the location where he was held. He only recalls that he was kept in a bathtub while a loud song was playing. He even remembers the lyrics and the title. The next day, newspapers everywhere publish stories praising King as a hero who saved his driver's son. The news trends everywhere, and King becomes widely admired. However, this newfound fame brings new problems. An investor visits King and tells him that the other investors have discovered that he is completely bankrupt. He has mortgaged all his property and spent all his money. They are withdrawing their support, and King is heading toward bankruptcy. He is given just 14 days to return the money, or his company will collapse. The investor leaves, and King is left in deep stress. While in this state, He listens again to the song Kyle mentioned. Realizing its importance, he rushes to the hospital and plays it for Kyle, who confirms it is the same one. King tells the police to investigate the artist. The singer's name is Young Felon, and the kidnapper had claimed his name was Felony. King concludes that the singer is likely the kidnapper. The police don't believe him. King insists he spoke to the kidnapper and recognizes his voice, but the detectives dismiss his claim and leave. Desperate to get his money back, King decides to confront Felon himself. Paul joins him, offering support. Armed with guns, they locate Felon's house. His wife opens the door with their child in her arms. She recognizes King immediately and welcomes him inside. She mentions that Felon made something for him and wanted to collaborate with his studio. King asks where Felon is, and she says he's at his small recording studio, giving them the address. King and Paul leave. King tells Paul to wait outside and enters the studio alone. He finds Felon recording. King stops the track and demands to know where his money is. Felon calmly says King doesn't understand how special this day is for him. He always wanted King's attention, but King never acknowledged him. So he took drastic action, and now King knows his name. King, furious, calls him insane and reminds him that he kidnapped and beat a child. He declares that Felon is a criminal, not a musician. They begin to fight. Felon pulls out a gun and shoots. King draws his own weapon. Felon runs, and King chases him. Hearing the commotion, Paul rushes in. Felon escapes, and King continues the chase, eventually following him onto a metro. They fight again. Felon tries to overpower King but fails. King ultimately knocks him down. The police arrive, arrest Felon, and later raid his house, recovering all the money. King is overjoyed. He visits Paul, who is now recovering. King offers him a share and credit, but Paul refuses, saying King has done enough. He and Kyle want to start fresh. They thank King sincerely. Meanwhile, Felon is taken to court. Outside, crowds fill the streets. His song has become the biggest hit of the year. People demand his release so he can make more music, but the government ignores them. During the investigation, Felon admits to his crimes on one condition: he wants one last meeting with King. The request is granted. In jail, Felon tells King that he has no idea what they've accomplished. He proposes a collaboration, claiming that if King partners with him, their song will become the biggest hit in the world and make both of them rich and famous. King refuses. He says he's leaving his big company behind and wants to start small, working with freedom and integrity. "You and I have no connection," he declares. Felon becomes angry and starts cursing, but King is unfazed. When King returns home, Trey tells him about a new singer named SUA and plays her song titled Highest to Lowest. King listens and is impressed. He says he will produce her music, but asks if she's ready for the challenges of the industry. SUA confidently says yes. King smiles and says, "All right, then we begin."